has this been sent down from the heavens. 27 inches, Quad HD, 240 Hz, QD-OLED, Alienware, $350, thereabouts. That's ridiculous. Where is it? That wasn't the right way of doing that. So I do think 27 inches is the sweet spot, sizing-wise. Why can't I click it in? I don't know what you're looking at. All I'm doing is putting the stand on what could be the best value gaming monitor ever. Beautiful. Boom! And there we have it. 27-inch Alienware AW2726DM. Catchy. Ready? Don't mess it up. Take two. Yes. And look at that. A very tasty anti-reflective coating, which makes all the difference in my mind. It doesn't feel like the most premium build quality. That's because it's $350, which is nuts. So let's plug it in and play some games. I mean, I've been recommending OLED gaming monitors for years now, and I would not switch from my ROG PG32 UCDM Gen 3, the name just rolls right off the tongue, which I think is the best gaming monitor right now, but it's also very expensive, like 1,500 quid thereabouts. And while you can get great gaming OLED monitors for sort of £400–500 thereabouts, still a chunk of money. $350, now that's pretty special. There are compromises, the brightness is a bit of a flaw, but you can't argue for that kind of money. And if you're not already on the OLED gaming bandwagon, then this may be the biggest bang for buck upgrade you can make this year. I mean, what can you buy this year for that kind of money? Graphics cards, PCs, laptops, everything is more expensive. Memory, of course, storage. Maybe this is the year where you upgrade your monitor rather than your actual PC. But just because it's good value doesn't mean necessarily you should rush out and buy one. Or should you? Let's talk about the good stuff first with this new Alienware. Because versus more budget IPS LCDs, all the usual OLED perks apply of having individually self-lit pixels. Blacks look properly black, with more vibrant and more accurate colors without any of that washed out look. But for gaming in particular, it's the basically instant response time and also the 240Hz VRR that makes OLEDs like this even more special. And I'm trying to back myself up so the camera focuses on the same plane as the monitor. Let's just cut to B-roll, Pete. Even though this is a cheaper panel, which we'll come to in a second, it's still set up to be just as fast. I mean, just look at this UFO test. There's no smearing, no ghosting, and if you are coming from an older, cheaper LCD screen, this could actually be mind-blowing. And it's decent for work as well. You really do have to get in close and squint to see any little bit of color fringing around the text and fine detail. It is just about there, but it's nothing like the issue it was on earlier QD-OLEDs. Colors on this 10-bit panel are accurate as well. We're talking 100% sRGB, 99% P3. That's a heck of a lot better than an IPS at this price point. Oh, and there's a 3-year warranty with this, which includes burn-in, which realistically we just don't have to worry about anymore. There's so many panel safety features, pixel refresh, where every now and then it just sort of moves everything 1 pixel, barely noticeable. And Alienware have built in a graphite film heatsink and also anti-burn-in software to again reduce the risk of any burn-in image retention issues. I know in some of the forums people still like to scare you about getting an OLED, but in real life it's not an issue. It really isn't. I also mentioned it at the beginning, but I think this 27-inch 1440p, so Quad HD, 240 Hz is like the perfect, what's the word? I've lost the word completely. Sweet spot. Yes, my rule of thumb is 24 inches 1080p, 27 inches 1440, 32 and above 4K. And while you can buy 4K 27-inch monitors, it does not make sense for gaming because that's even more pixels to push, which means you are even less likely to hit that 240 Hz and max out the refresh rate. At 1440p, assuming you have a reasonably powerful PC, depending on what you play, you should be able to get triple digits and maybe even get up to that 240, particularly with the latest DLSS and FSR and frame generation technology. Now, as it says on the tin, well, the box, it is a QD-OLED, a quantum dot organic light emitting diode. Compared to the other common form of OLED panels, WOLEDs or WOLEDs, QD-OLEDs like this tend to focus on brighter colors, better grayscale uniformity. So what's the catch? well, brightness. This thing, 200 nits of full screen SDR brightness, 400 HDR, and there's no display HDR, true black certification either. It is fine, but it is not going to blow you away, and it is not going to give you any kind of good HDR experience. I was actually trying to make this brighter for the background of my video, but this is at 100% brightness. It's not a deal breaker, it's just a little bit underwhelming. I think if you're using it in a normal gaming environment, like your bedroom, and you haven't got all the lights on, then you'll be absolutely fine. You probably won't even notice except for the crap HDR. But if I just pull the camera out there and face this towards my my window, in fact, let me bring the tripod over. You can see it is doing a really good job at reducing those reflections. Still colorful, still getting all those lovely deep OLED blacks, infinite contrast. It is nice. I don't want to be too harsh because, again, it's $350 thereabouts. You might even be able to get a deal on that now. That's the main compromise. Other issues? Well, my unit seems to have a weirdly offset panel. The bezel on one side is a fair bit chunkier than the one on the other side. There's also no USB connectivity at all, so you can't connect, say, your laptop or your MacBook via USB-C. There's also no built-in speakers, although they would probably be terrible if they were, although there is an audio jack. Also around the back, we have a couple of HDMI 2.1s, which are good for 1440p up to 120Hz with HDR and VRR, although you'll want to use the display port for the full 1440p 240Hz with HDR and VRR. And because the display port is 1.4 rather than the newer 2.1 standard, it uses DSC compression, although we've been used to this for years and it really isn't a problem at 1440p, but just something to bear in mind. And we get AMD FreeSync Premium and Adaptive Sync. There is also NVIDIA G-Sync, but if you got an earlier model of this without the updated firmware, you'll have to manually enable it via the NVIDIA app, but that's not too difficult. And while it is nice and thin and largely inoffensive, it is a bit dull, it's very plasticky, a bit wobbly. You can tell it's a bit more of a budget display. And the lack of any kind of cable tidy slot or pass-through in the stand means all your cables hang down and makes things look a bit untidy. It is Visa mount compatible if you prefer. So yeah, it is far from perfect, but for the money, I don't think there's a better monitor out there. And I love the fact that OLED gaming is no longer just for those who can spend over $1,000 on a monitor. You still certainly can. And as I mentioned earlier at the beginning, the ROG PG32UC-DM3 is my favorite monitor in the whole world right now. That's like 32-inch 4K 240Hz, much brighter. All the bells and whistles, but it's also 5 times the price, 6 times the price of this. This is incredible, and I recommend it basically to everyone. And if you do fancy picking one up, I will leave a link in the description below. If you've got any other questions at all, please drop a comment. Hopefully you enjoy this review. This was a fun one to make because it's quite rare that a new monitor comes along that isn't just like, this is the best monitor ever, the best gaming display, everything else is rubbish, buy this, but then it's like £2,000 and no one can actually buy it. This actually is a properly good everyday gaming OLED monitor. And that's not something we've been able to say much before. So yeah, definitely check out this Alienware. Links below, thumbs up, sub, all those annoying YouTuber things, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chap.